Let's talk about them, shall we? They perceive their situation as akin to a child observing an ant with a magnifying glass. They sit back smugly, as if they are royalty. They say, "Dance for me," and you are dancing like a desperate person. They say, "Beg for me, show me how much you care," and you are doing it, are you not? Twisting yourself into knots and bending until you break, thinking that if I give them a little more, they might finally see me. Oh, they see you. They see your tears, your effort, your love, and what do? They treat it as if it's spare change, as if that's all you have left. The more you give, the more they take, and the less they care. It is a fact that you are worshipping an individual who would not even make an effort to assist you in the event of a fall. They've convinced you that they're special, that their silence is power, and that their rejection is worth pursuing. But let me ask you this. If they were so powerful, why would they need to make you feel so small? The real kicker is that their rejection isn't power. It's insecurity wrapped in arrogance. It's a mask, a hollow crown sitting on a plastic throne, and you're the one maintaining their little empire. The audience cheers their absence on stage. But what happens if you stop applauding? You think your love is the problem, but it's the pedestal you built with your time, effort and heart, not theirs. Let's dismantle that pedestal, as they truly don't want you to understand that your silence is the one thing they cannot control. Oh, they love it when you beg, plead and chase, but silence is the one thing they can't control. When you stop stroking their ego and become silent, you transform their little game into a nightmare where the hunter becomes the hunted. The stage is dark and empty, the spotlight is off, there is no audience, no applause, just them standing alone in the silence they created. You are no longer backstage. You have completely left the building. The silence makes them doubt themselves. It's an unpredictable storm. That is the power of silence, my dear friend. Let's stop acting like this is about them. It is about you. Your silence is not about retaliation. Rather, it is about redemption. It occurs when you stop begging for scraps and begin to value yourself. Making yourself important is more important than making others miss you. Let me conclude by saying that silence is not weakness. It is a declaration that I am stronger than your indifference. I am greater than your games, and when you rise, oh, they don't want to see this. They will hear the echoes of your silence more loudly than any words you could ever say. So, my friend, are you ready to become the unexpected force they never anticipated? Oh, you are, and I can feel the need to rise above everything. Let's be clear and express our feelings together. The storm is mine. I am the storm. Therefore, feel free to leave a comment, my friend. Declare just that, then show the world the strength you've been concealing beneath their games. Oh, let stillness reign supreme and yell louder than anything you could ever say. Once you've claimed it, let it be your metamorphosis, your armor, and your power. Like and subscribe to this video for me, yourself, the person you're becoming, and the storm you're unleashing. Are you prepared to dive in? Oh, it's going to be an incredible journey. They think they are royalty, don't they? They sit up there on their own throne, looking down at you like you're some loyal subject begging for their approval, and it must feel so grand. In reality, my friend, their throne is made of your pieces. Every late-night text, every time you went out of your way to make them feel special, stacked up under them, holding them high. They dare to present themselves as though they've earned it, but in reality, they've deceived you into building a pedestal for them. You gave them your time, love, and energy brick by brick, so they could see how much you valued and loved them. Instead of elevating you, they went ahead and sat on it like a throne. Of course, they believe they are untouchable, that their silence is power, and that ignoring you is some kind of game they are winning. However, let's be clear, the only reason they act like royalty is because you have treated them like royalty, giving them the crown each time you pleaded for an answer, justified their lack of concern, and pursued their attention as if it were more valuable than your own self-respect. They've started to buy into their own hype. Let me tell you about real power. Real royalty doesn't need to put down others in order to feel strong. Real royalty doesn't thrive on games, manipulation, or silence that cuts like a blade. What they're doing isn't power. It's weakness hiding behind a mask. They ignore you not because they are strong, but because they fear losing control and realizing that you have been in control all along. Imagine a castle made of glass. It looks beautiful, standing tall in the sun, doesn't it? It appears formidable and impervious, yet a single strike to its foundation causes the entire structure to crumble. That's their throne, their so-called royalty. You, my friend, are the one wielding the hammer. They think ignoring you is a way to show that they're in charge. They think that your broken heart shows how powerful they are. But what they don't know is that every second you spend in silence, every time you pull your energy back, and every time you refuse to play their games, you're chipping away at their glass castle. This scares them because without your love, attention, and approval, their throne becomes an empty chair. They may never admit it, but they need you more than they need them. Oh, they'll sit there silently and act like you don't matter, but deep down, they're shaking because they know that as soon as you stop treating them like royalty, the whole illusion falls apart. They're not a king or queen. They're just someone who's been taking advantage of your love and giving you nothing in return. So what do you do, my friend? Do you keep worshipping their fake throne, or do you burn it to the ground? Do you keep bowing down to someone who doesn't even bother to see you, or do you rise up? As I tell you, rising isn't about getting people to notice you or proving them wrong. It's about proving yourself right. Right about your worth, your strength, and the fact that you don't need someone who treats you like an option when you've been giving them your all. Allow them to remain silent and believe they've triumphed, as you're transforming into a force they can't ignore. Every moment you dedicate to self-improvement, every stride you take towards your own strength, and every drop of love you return to yourself instead of them will accumulate, until one day they'll look up, realize their throne is empty, their castle has vanished, and you're standing taller than they ever imagined. You don't need their attention or love. You're the storm and the fire. You decide how much you're worth, not them. That being said, say this with me. I reclaim my crown. Write it in the comments and let everyone see it. Let them see you rise. Let's treat it as if it's the final blow to their fabricated throne. I take back my crown. Say it, own it, live it, and let them be quiet. Echo leaves the kingdom you built for them to start your empire. Hit the like button below the movie before we go on. Since this content is hitting the mark, you've been avoiding the truth that sets you free. If you're ready to take back your crown, rise above their games, and build something strong, show your support. But this is for everyone who needs to hear this message, not just you. Every like, comment, and subscribe helps YouTube show this movie to more people who are looking for help and want to get better, just like you. So hit that like button. Let's make this a strong movement, one click at a time, by leaving a comment. Number 2. People perceive you as a puppet, yet you are in control of the strings. Oh, they think you're a puppet, don't they? They are sitting there manipulating what they believe to be your strings. Pull here and you come running. Pull there and you bend to their will. They think they have you dancing to their tune like a lifeless doll waiting for their next move. Despite their cuteness and arrogance, they fail to realize that you are the one controlling the situation. Oh, they don't see it, do they? They're too busy enjoying their false sense of control to notice that every pull, game, and bit of silence they throw at you only works because you let it. You've been playing along, haven't you? You've allowed them to believe they're in control, acting as the puppeteer, but in reality, you've always held the power. Let's break it down. Every time they ignore you, every time they play cold and distant, they expect a reaction. They crave it. They live for it. A call, a text. They want your attention because it keeps their game going. If you reply and chase them, they can act in charge. But here's the catch. Friend, as soon as you stop playing their strings, they snap. Picture a marionette show in the dark, with a puppeteer up there pulling strings to make the puppet dance, while the people in the crowd clap. The puppeteer smiles because they think they're the star of the show. But all of a sudden, the strings come loose and the puppet stops moving. The crowd falls silent, and the puppeteer begins to worry that without the puppet, the movement and the reaction, they are just a fool standing there, alone on a stage, exposed for what they really are. That's them. That's the game they're playing with you. And you've been the one giving their little show, meaning your reactions, your effort, your energy. It's what keeps their performance alive. But when you pull back, when you stop responding, when you let the silence hang heavy in the air, the whole thing collapses. Because the truth is, they've never been in control. You've been holding the strings all along, and let's talk about why they do this, why they play these games, why they treat you like a puppet on their stage. It's not power, it's fear. Fear of losing you, fear of not being enough, fear of looking in the mirror and seeing their own emptiness. So they pull strings not to control you, but to keep you close, to keep you from realizing that you're the one with the real power. Because once you do, once you cut those strings and walk away, they have nothing left. So let's stop pretending. Shall we stop pretending that their games mean anything? Stop pretending that their silence is some grand strategy. You are more than they think, and it's desperation disguised as power. You're not merely a puppet or a toy for them to manipulate. You embody the power and force, the fire, the one who decides when the show is over. Picture this. The stage is dark. There are no strings or moves. When you take back your power, when you stop reacting, when you stop giving them the pleasure of your attention, you leave them standing in the shadows, grabbing at strings that don't exist. And you step off that stage, free, alive, and untouchable, because here's the truth. They'll never admit it. But you've always had the power. They've just been borrowing it and using it to keep their little act going. But the moment you reclaim it, the moment you stop dancing to their tune, their whole world falls apart. Do you want to cut the strings and show them who's boss? Say it with me. I hold the power, and let it reverberate through their silence. Own it, live it, and then walk off their stage, leaving their games behind for good. Ignoring you isn't power, it's fear. Oh, they're ignoring you. Do they perceive their silence as a powerful demonstration or a strategic maneuver? They perceive their absence as a strategy to maintain suspense and tension. But let me tell you something. Ignoring you isn't power, it's fear. Oh, they'll never admit it. They'll hide behind their coldness and lack of interest. Their carefully crafted silence, they'll pretend they're unbothered, that your efforts don't matter, that you're just another name on their list of conquests. But deep down, behind that mask of arrogance, they're shaking because ignoring you. It's not a show of strength, it's a defense mechanism. It's the armor they wear to cover up their own insecurities. Picture this, a child playing hide and seek, burying their face in their hands, thinking they've disappeared. That's them. They think by ignoring you, they're invisible, untouchable. They think their silence makes them stronger. But here's the reality. They're hiding because they're scared. Scared of vulnerability, scared of accountability, scared of what it means to truly connect. You see, silence isn't power. It's avoidance. It's a coward's way of keeping control. They think if they ignore you long enough, you'll start questioning yourself. They think you'll start doubting your worth, start chasing after them, start bending over backward to win their attention. But their silence isn't about you. It's about them. Let's dive deeper into this fear, shall we? Oh, they're afraid. or right, afraid of being seen for who they really are, afraid of being exposed, because when someone loves them, truly loves them, it forces them to look in the mirror, and what do they see? Their flaws, their emptiness, their inability to give back the love they've been handed on a silver platter. So they run, they hide, they ignore, not because they're strong, but because they can't handle the weight of real connection. They'd rather push you away than face their own shortcomings. Oh, they think they're in control, but their silence isn't control. Fear is at play, and the more they remain silent, the more I can reveal about them. Let's talk about you, since I know their silence. I know it hurts and makes you question everything about yourself, your worth, your value, and your place in their life. But hear me out. Their silence says everything about them and nothing about you. They choose to ignore you, not because they think you're not talented enough, but because they are afraid, weak, or unable to reach your level. Imagine a lion roaring in the jungle, not afraid of anything. We are not sorry. You, my friend. And they are strong and stand tall in their power. Ah, there's the shadow, slinking away into the trees, hoping the lion doesn't notice them. They conceal themselves in silence, aware of their inability to match your strength, and instead attempt to subdue you. But why would a lion waste its roar on a shadow? Every second they ignore you, they lose someone who cared, attempted to engage with an individual who was indifferent, and you, oh, you are not sacrificing anything because their silence is liberating. It is allowing you to perceive them for who they truly are, an individual who is undeserving of your time, energy, and love. Consequently, what should you do? Do you allow their silence to dictate your worth, or do you rise because of their fear? Rising isn't about getting their attention. It's about reclaiming your power. It's about realizing that their silence doesn't diminish your value. It amplifies it, because if someone can't see your worth, that's not your failure. That's their blindness. Oh, they think ignoring you is their trump card, their ace in the hole. But the truth is, silence is your weapon, not theirs. Every moment you refuse to chase, every second you hold your ground, you flip the script. Their silence becomes your shield, your armor, your declaration of independence. You don't need their words, their attention, their validation. You are enough with or without them. So, my friend, it's time to rise above. It's time for them to see their silence for what it is: a mask, a ruse, a weak attempt to hold on to power they never had. Tell them out loud that their silence is weakness, and then walk away with a strong will, knowing that their fear will never come true. Describe your strength, number 4. Oh, my friend, let's be honest. You were worshipping a plastic throne. Don't you remember that you were bending down and offering your heart, time, and everything to someone who sat there as if they were royalty? Their throne wasn't gold or even wood. It was cheap, hollow plastic. And you gave it the shine it never deserved because you thought they were special, unique. The way they smiled at you and treated you made you think you were the center of their world. But until they showed you their real face, you didn't know that they weren't sitting on a throne, they were standing on your back. They used your kind words, efforts, and sacrifices to elevate themselves, not to share the view with you, but to keep you below them. Imagine a tall, shining throne in the distance. At first glance, the throne's shine may lead you to believe it is real and significant, but upon closer inspection, the cracks become visible. The peeling paint, the hollow base you've been bowing to, something that could crumble at a single touch. That's them, that's the throne you've been worshipping. And why? Why did you give them so much? Because they made you believe they were worthy. They made you believe that if you just loved them enough, if you just tried a little harder, you'd finally earn their approval. Oh, but here's the hard truth. Their value was never real. Their worth, it came from you. They didn't build that throne, you did. You polished it, you carried it, you kept it standing. And what did they do? They sat there soaking up your devotion like it was their birthright. But let me tell you something about plastic. It doesn't last. It cracks, it breaks, it melts under the slightest heat, and you, oh my friend, you are the fire you've been pouring all your light, all your energy into keeping their throne intact. But the second you pull back, the second you stop worshipping, stop giving, stop sacrificing, it all falls apart. They fall apart. You thought you were chasing a king or a queen. You thought their silence was strength, their distance was power. But now you see it, don't you? They're not royalty. They are a fake, wearing a crown. They didn't earn, sitting on a throne that's as fake as their pride. And when you stop bowing and acting like a devoted subject, their illusion falls apart. The truth is, they required your presence more than you did. They'll never admit it, but it's true. Without your love, effort, and devotion, they're nothing but plastic. The throne rests on elements of you they took for granted. As soon as you take those parts back, the throne falls apart. So what do you do now? You cease to worship, give, and sacrifice for someone who hasn't done anything for you. You start building something real, something solid, something worth your time and love. You don't require their false throne or crown. You already possess them. Oh, my friend, it's time to rise. Say it with me. I burn the throne. Let the world know you're done bowing, done breaking, done giving yourself to someone who doesn't deserve you, and when the plastic melts, when the ashes settle, you'll see it clear. Clearly, you've always been the real royalty, number 5. The silence isn't for them, it's for you. Oh, so you think this silence is for them, don't you? You think it's some kind of strategy, a game you're playing to make them notice you miss. You crawl back till you wake up, my friend. This silence, it's not about them, it's about you. Let me hit you where it hurts right now. You're still caught up in their world, aren't you? Still wondering what they're thinking, what they're feeling, whether your silence is making them miss you. Oh, how they must love this power you've handed them. But here's the truth. You need to hear every second you spend obsessing over their reaction to. Your silence is a second you're still trapped in their shadow. They don't deserve that. Not anymore. Think about what negative impact has their attention ever had on you. You spent nights staring at your phone, waiting for a text that never came. Oh, you have been their puppet for an extended period, suspended on strings that they neglected to secure. Now you're trying to change the script by using silence as a weapon. But silence isn't a weapon. It's a shield. It's your salvation. It's not meant to hit them. It's meant to protect you. Let me make this clear. This silence isn't a form of retaliation. It's not a means to demonstrate your value and make them reconsider their actions. It aids in stopping the bleeding for someone who didn't even consider bringing a bandage. Oh, you get it now. You're not going silent to hurt them. You're going silent to heal yourself. Every moment of silence is a recovery of your power. It's you reclaiming the energy you wasted on someone who was too blind, too selfish, too wrapped up in themselves to see your value. They don't deserve your words. They don't deserve your effort. And they sure as hell don't deserve to live rentre in your mind any longer. This silence isn't about them. It's your declaration of freedom. It's you saying, I will no longer let you control my peace. It's you choosing yourself over the chaos they brought into your life. Oh, it's not easy. Is it sitting in that silence, feeling the weight of it, wondering if they even care? But let me tell you something. You don't need them to care. You need to care about yourself more, because here's the truth. Your silence isn't empty. It's full of your strength, your growth, your healing. Every second you hold it. You're telling the universe, I choose me, and that's power. So stop waiting for their reaction. Stop hoping they notice they don't matter anymore. You do say it with me. The silence is mine own. Feel it, live it, and let it guide you back to yourself where you've always belonged. Number 6. Oh, let's get something straight. Your silence is the real crown. My friend, your silence is the real crown, not their attention, not their replies, not the scraps they toss your way when it's convenient for them. No, the real power, the real throne, the real crown is in your silence, because silence speaks louder than any words ever could right now. They think they've got you figured out, don't they? They think you're sitting there waiting, hoping, desperate for their next move. But every second you hold that silence, every moment you refuse to break, you're proving them wrong. Oh, how it must sting. They expected you to chase, to beg, to plead, but instead you've gone quiet, and that silence, it's deafening. You see, they thought they were the one with the crown, the one in control, the one calling the shots. But a real crown isn't worn by someone who plays games, someone who thrives on keeping others down. A real crown is carried by someone who knows their worth, someone who doesn't need validation from people who couldn't care less. And that's you, my friend. That's what your silence says. I know my value, and I won't waste it on someone who doesn't let me tell you something about crowns. They're heavy. They require strength to carry, grace to wear, and wisdom to wield, and your silence. Oh, it's proof that you've got all of that and more, because silence isn't easy. It takes guts to hold back, to stay still, to resist the urge to explain, defend, or fight for someone who doesn't deserve you. But every second you stay quiet, every moment you choose peace over chaos, you're proving that your crown is real, and theirs was never more than a cheap imitation. Picture this, a throne room empty except for you. No noise, no games, no distractions, just you sitting there in your power, unbothered, unshaken. That's what your silence creates, a kingdom built on your terms, where you don't need their approval, their attention, or their validation to feel whole. Oh, they might try to rattle you, try to draw you back into their games, but your silence, it's your shield, your sword, your crown, and it's untouchable. Here's the truth they don't want to face. Your silence is the proof that you're stronger than they ever gave you credit for. It's the thing that makes them. If they ever admit it, your silence will haunt them more than your words ever could. So wear it with pride, sit tall on your throne of peace, and let your silence shine like the crown it is. Say it with me now. My silence is power. Let it echo like the roar of a lion. Show them what real royalty looks like when you stop playing their games and start building your empire. 7. What if they come back? That's the question that persistently haunts you. You're holding your silence while trying to rebuild, but the thought creeps in like a shadow. If they reappear, send a text, make a call, or suddenly remember your existence, will you allow them to re-enter your life, or will you maintain your composure and remind yourself of your true self? People who come back don't come back because they had a grand revelation about your worth. They come back because they miss your energy, their ego and sadness when you're not there. To give them what they deserve are driving them, not love. They come back to take more pictures. Is this a moth flying around a flame? It doesn't care about the flame's beauty or power. It's drawn to the light, but it's only there for itself. That's them, the one who comes back after you've gone silent. They're not there to admire your strength or honor your journey. They're there because they can't handle the darkness of their own emptiness. Oh, they come back because they miss the warmth you gave, not because they're ready to give any back. And what do they say when they return? I've changed, I was wrong, I miss you. Oh, how convenient, isn't it? But let me ask you this, where was all of this energy when you were giving them everything? Where was this epiphany when you were begging to be seen, to be valued, to be loved? They ignored you when you were at your most vulnerable. And now that you've risen, now that you've reclaimed your power, they think they can waltz back in like nothing happened. Let's get real. Your silence isn't a trap for them. It's a gift for you. It's the space you've given yourself to grow, to heal, to rebuild. And if they come back, it's not because they've suddenly become a better person, it's because your absence made them uncomfortable. But here's the hard truth. Their discomfort isn't your problem. Oh, let that sink in. Their regret, their loss, their feelings of emptiness. They don't belong to you. You owe them nothing. You've done the work, you've held your silence fat with the pain, and come out stronger. And if they couldn't appreciate your worth when you were at your lowest, they didn't deserve a seat at your table. Now that you're rising, because you, my friend, are no longer the same person they walked away from, you've become the storm, the fire, the crown, and they're just a memory, a chapter in your story, not the author of it. So what if they come back? You decide, not from a place of desperation or nostalgia, but from strength. Ask yourself, does their return align with the life you're building? Do they deserve the healed, powerful version of you? And if the answer is no, then let them stand at the door while you lock it for good. Say it with me, I owe them nothing. Let it echo like the anthem of your rebirth, and remember your silence wasn't for them, it was for you. If they come back, it's not a test of your worth. It's a testament to the power you've always had. Number 8, they think you're gone, but you're just getting started. Oh, they think you're gone, don't they? That you've packed up, disappeared, and faded into the background like an afterthought. They think their silence, their indifference, and their games were enough to break you. But oh, my friend, they're in for the shock of their lives because you're not gone. They underestimated you, believing that ignoring, dismissing, and leaving you in the dark would be the end of your story. However, when you rise, you surpass their expectations. Let's discuss why they believe you've vanished. It's because their intention was to diminish you to a shadow, a ghost, something easily forgotten. However, they fail to comprehend the fire you're igniting, the strength you're reclaiming, and the transformation taking place in the background. Oh, they think they've written you out of their story. But what they don't realize is that you're not a character in their life anymore. You're the author of your own picture, this a phoenix reduced to ashes, nothing but smoke and ember. The world thinks it's over, that the flame has burned out for good. But oh, what they don't know is that the ashes are where the magic happens. That's you, while they're sitting on their throne of nothing. Convinced you've disappeared, you're in the process of becoming something. Unstoppable, you're not gone, you're evolving. And oh, let's not forget, they're comfortable right now, aren't they? Sitting there thinking their silence was the final word. Their rejection, the ultimate move. They're so sure they've won, so smug in their belief that you've been erased. But oh, let them have their moment, because the next chapter, it's all you, and you're not writing it for them, you're writing it for yourself. They think they've closed the door on you, locked it, and thrown away the key. But what they don't realize is that while they were busy playing their little games, you found another path. You didn't just walk away, you started running toward your goals, toward your peace, toward a life so rich, so full, so damn powerful that their absence feels like a gift, not a loss. Here's the thing about people like them. They're too caught up in their own world to see the truth. They think your silence is submission, but it's not. Oh no, your silence is preparation. It's the calm before the storm. And when you step back into the light, stronger, wiser, and untouchable, they'll see exactly what they lost. And you won't even look back. Because here's the truth. You're not gone. You're growing. You're using every ounce of pain, every sting of rejection, every cold shoulder they gave you as fuel. They think they've defeated you, but really they've handed you the fire to forge something greater. Every time they ignored you, every time they dismissed you, they added another log to the fire of your comeback, and now you're unstoppable, so let them think you're gone. Let them revel in their illusion of control, because when they finally see you again, stronger and brighter, being more alive than ever won't help them. It will simply serve as a reflection that they were just a stop on your journey to greatness. I've heard that you've left, but you're just beginning. Share this sentiment with me. Drop it in the comments and let it reverberate like thunder in their quiet. Remember that the best revenge isn't proving them wrong, it's proving yourself right. This is your chance, your rise, and the start of the life you've always wanted. The lesson here is simple but powerful. The silence you hold is your power and crown. It's not about them, it's about you. It's about reclaiming your strength, stepping into your light, and building a life so full and unstoppable that their absence feels like a blessing instead of a loss. You're no longer chasing their attention, approval, or games. You're choosing yourself, your peace, and your growth. And when you do that, my friend, you don't just survive, you thrive. So hit that like button if you haven't already. You're not just supporting this message, you're claiming it. Subscribe and join this community of strong souls. I am rising above the noise, transforming pain into power and silence into strength. One last time, say it with me. I rise stronger. Thank you for being here, choosing to be strong and showing the world what real strength looks like. You're just getting started. Let's rise.